This is a simple ribbed crocheted hat. It's ribbed throughout the whole hat, and it's made from basically a square of crochet that will be stitched together on one side and then gathered at one end to make the hat. First, I wanted to figure out the width of the square piece of ribbed single crochet. So what's that measurement right there when I overlap the tape?
24.
24 inches. So my finished piece has to be 24 inches wide. I wanted to make a ribbed hat, and I'm thinking about the length of it. So I think about how well it's going to fit me. If it's going to be fitting tight, then just measure to the center of the back of your head. If you want it to be slouchy, go beyond that. And I want it to be a slouchy, so I'm going to make it 14 inches. Create a chain that will be as long as my slouchy hat. This is 14 inches, which is the length of my slouchy hat. But the width depends on how many rows I add on to this chain. It was 24 inches, but this particular rib design stretches a lot. I drew a diagram of the plan for this slouchy hat. It's going to be 14 inches in total length. I do plan on folding up at least 3 or 4 inches for a brim. So they're actually going to be about 12 or 11 inches beyond that. So it's going to be a slouchy hat that's shaped like this with a brim. My head measurement was about 23 inches, but I think I want to subtract a lot because this particular crochet pattern stretches extremely. It's very flexible. I would subtract about 6 inches from your head width to account for the amount of stretch in this particular crochet stitch pattern. So I'm going to make mine about 18 inches, which is I'm subtracting about 5 inches from the circumference of my head, I should say. The plan is 14 inches long and 18 inches wide. This particular plan that I'm following takes 52 chains. So I crocheted 52 chains with this gray yarn that I'm using. For the first pass around, I am just going to go chain an extra one, so 52, chain an extra one, that'll be 53, skip the extra chain that I made on the end, and put the crochet hook directly underneath the top. If you're holding the chain in front of you like this, put it underneath the top string of the next chain over. Just underneath that top string, yarn over, bring through. You should have 2 loops, yarn over, bring the crochet hook through those 2. Now I don't skip anymore. I just work for the next 51 chains. I just work into every single one of these. So I'm going to go underneath the top of the chain. You know how the chain is made up of a string on the top and a string on the bottom to create like a little V shape. Go underneath that top string, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over and pull that yarn through the 2. And continue along, hooking underneath the top string, and just go along and go to the end, and I will meet you back here to show you what you do with the next pass over. You'll notice that I'm creating a chain just like in your crochet samples, the chain is starting to form on the top of this wall, and now the chain is not laying this way facing you, it's laying horizontally on the top of that wall. So far, I'm about halfway there. So this is what the piece looks like. Right now I have about almost 10 inches, so I have about 8 more inches to go. I still recommend that you wrap it around your head every now and then to check on your progress. I might decide that 18 inches width might be too much, and I want the hat to feel more snug and tighter, so I might go with 16 inches. So as you make this hat, wrap it around your head like this and double check how it feels around the circumference of your head. Since the chain has now formed on top of this wall horizontally, you're going to take your crochet hook. After you get to the end of the foundation chain, you chain one and flip the piece over. Then you're going to put your crochet hook and hook it underneath the back of the chain. So you see how there's a string that is closest to you right here, and then there's another string that's in the back facing away from you. Hook the crochet hook underneath the back of the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull the yarn over through the last 2 loops. So here we go again. Here's the front of the chain and here's the back of the chain. Hook the crochet hook underneath the back of the chain, that back string, and then yarn over. When you get to the other side, pull through, yarn over, and pull the yarn over through the last 2 loops. So continue to do this until you get to the end of this row. And make sure you go all the way over. If you feel like there's a little strange gap, then you probably have one more chain to go into. So here at the end of a row, or you could count that you have exactly 52 chains. At the end of the row, I don't see anything else that I can hook my crochet hook into, so I make that extra chain. That's called your turning chain. I flip this whole piece over and I skip the chain. Remember, this little loop that's holding your yarn onto the crochet hook is your slip knot. It doesn't count as a chain. It is not a chain. The chain underneath that is that turning chain that for this type of single crochet, and the one after that is what you have to hook into. So this is many rows from the foundation row, and this is what you do for the second row and the rest of the piece. You hook underneath the back string of the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. And then after that, skipping one, chaining one, skipping one part, you just work your crochet hook into the back of every single chain without skipping after that. So I'm going to put my crochet hook into underneath the back of the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and then pull that through the last 2 loops. So that's what you're going to repeat until you build up the width that you need to create this ribbed hat. When I do that, I'm going to come back to this video and I'm going to show you how to stitch the sides together and gather the top of the hat together. And that's it. You could add a pom-pom or not. I already have a separate video on creating pom-poms, but you may decide that you don't like a pom-pom for this, or you may want to give this hat to somebody who likes a more masculine looking hat, and the pom-pom may not be desirable for them. So, all right, and then we're going to come back here after I make the rest of the width of this rectangular piece of rib single crochet. Remember, you're hooking into the back of the chain only, not underneath both strings. So just hook underneath the back to create this really beautiful ribbed pattern. It almost looks like knit instead of crochet.